All right. Oh, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in and joining for us to listen to us talk about WBB. WBB is the most exciting business program that I know of, certainly the most exciting one I've ever been involved in. So let's get started. My name is Professor Stephen Nason. I'm the director of the World Bachelor Business Program. I'm joined by two of our students, Kelly and Sherry, who will also share with you some of their experiences with WBB. So, WBB, what is WBB? Well, WBB is a program for creating global leaders. Almost all business programs say that. WBB means it. Creating global leaders is in our DNA. Let me tell you why. First, if you join WBB, you spend your first year at the University of Southern California. It's a joint program with 3 universities. Students spend their first year at the University of Southern California. They spend their second year at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology here in Hong Kong. They spend their third year at the University of Bocconi in Milan, Italy. Their fourth year, they go back to whichever school they enjoyed the most, or perhaps where they want to start their career. And when they graduate, they get not 1, but 3 degrees. They get the USC degree, just like every other USC student, the HKUST degree, and the Bocconi degree. So the World Bachelor Business Program, 3 world-class universities, 3 continents, 3 degrees, 1 unparalleled experience. That's WBB. Let me dig into it in a little bit more detail. As I said, the first year, all students in WBB start at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, hugely exciting city, the heart of entertainment and business. USC, one of the top undergraduate business programs in the United States, and more. In WBB, students will take courses in a general business, without specialty or business, but even more. At USC, students join a program where they work with an NGO in South America. They take a class that exposes them for a whole semester to economic situation, business situation in the country that they're focused on. And then they go to South America. They go to South America for a couple of weeks to do additional research and then present their recommendations to executives from the company that they've been working on. Last year, we went to Peru. Previous years, we've gone to Brazil or Argentina. Second year, HKUST. Students take more business classes, particularly classes that focus on Asia, doing business in Asia and emerging markets. And here at HKUST, we dig deeper into other business problems, corporate business problems, case competition. Students develop an ability to analyze real business problems, problems that companies themselves don't know how to solve. They throw out these problems to a case competition. Our teams analyze it, and then we send teams to these case competitions where they compete with other teams from all over the world. The third year, University of Bocconi in Milan, Italy. At Bocconi, a fashion capital of Europe, also a financial capital of Europe, students take courses on all sorts of business, particularly business focused on Europe, European business law, and so on. And then the fourth year, they come back, they wrap up the business courses that they're required to take, and the fourth year is where there's opportunity to take more electives that allow students to focus and dig into the specific areas that they might be interested in. All right, so I've already talked a bit about the curriculum at each of the 3 universities. The first 3 years, we cover the breadth of business knowledge. The final year allows us time for more focus. Okay, so I've touched on the student experience a little bit with some of the extracurricular and co-curricular activities. This was just a small sample. There are many, many other extracurricular, co-curricular activities available to students. In fact, any of the extracurricular, co-curricular activities that are available to anyone at USC are available to the students at WBB. Same at HKUST and same at Bocconi. Now, accommodations. The accommodations, WBB does provide university accommodations at each of the universities. Students have an option of doing it their own if they like, but we do provide university accommodations. WBB is a small program. Our focus is on 45 students every year, and that allows us to have more contact with the students. WBB office at each of the universities has several faculty and staff devoted just to the WBB students. I've talked about the social activities, open to same social activities of anyone else at any of the other universities, and we have some WBB social activities as well. Career services. This is something that's very important because in WBB, you have access to the career services at all three universities, not just the university you're at, but all three universities. So you have access to the career services at USC, even when you're at HKUST, and Bocconi, and you have access to the alumni network at all three universities. This is very important. USC has one of the most crazy, fanatic, passionate alumni networks in the world, and WBB students are alumni at USC. HKUST has more focus on Asia, Bocconi, and Europe. You have access to the alumni network and the career services at all three of these universities. All right, so this is a map that tells you more about WBB. The blue are where WBB students are from. The red are where WBB students have worked. The yellow is where WBB students have gone as part of WBB. Okay, this is where WBB students have worked, the companies. You can see that WBB students have worked as interns at jobs at some of the most famous, most well-known companies all over the world. In fact, by year 3, 100% of WBB students have done internships or launched their startups. Actually, at the end of year 1, the vast majority of WBB students have also worked in an intern, which is pretty remarkable. Okay, so would you like to join us? We would like to talk to anyone who's interested. Before I turn it over to the students, admissions. If you're interested in WBB, you apply through the University of Southern California, but you list WBB as your first choice. Even if you're from Asia, you apply through USC, list WBB as your first choice. All admission decisions are made jointly between the directors of the 3 WBB units at each of the major universities. The deadline for submitting the application is December 1st. So we follow the North American framework for applications, so please submit your application by December 1st. We do require SAT, so make sure that you have taken the SAT and that you can submit those scores. We require the SAT, but we don't overweight it. It's just a one uniform requirement from all the schools. We look heavily at grades. We look at your letters of recommendations, your written statements, your extracurricular activities. We're really looking for finding people who will blossom in this kind of aggressive international environment. And I should mention, SAT or ACT, both are equally good for WBB. We will let you know by April 1st of the acceptance decision, and then students have a month to decide whether to accept by May 1st deadline. All right, tuition. WBB is a private, non-government funded program. So you pay the USC tuition just like everyone else at USC for your first year. You pay the HKUST non-government sponsored tuition of about 210,000 Hong Kong dollars per year, which is roughly 30,000 US, and the Bocconi full tuition, which is about the same. US, it's about 18,000 euros a year. We do offer scholarships. The scholarships are merit-based scholarships. About a third of our students, 40%, do get some sort of scholarship or another, but this is merit-based. And the final year, you pay the tuition of whichever university you go back to in your final year. All right. So I've given you an outline and overview of the program. I hope it's piqued your interest a little bit. Now I would like to turn it over to two of much better ambassadors for WBB than me, two of our students. So first, let me introduce Kelly.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Professor Nathan. So I'm here today just to talk a little bit about why I chose WBB. So there are two major reasons why I chose WBB. The first one being that I was looking for a higher education experience that would give me global exposure. And WBB was a really nice compromise because although I wanted global exposure, my parents wanted me to stay in Hong Kong. And then the World Bachelor in Business program would give me at least 2 years in Hong Kong. And so the WBB program was a really great compromise that eventually persuaded my parents. So some other university programs that I applied to include the New York University and Columbia University, which are both situated in New York, a financial hub. However, WBB gives you the opportunity to be in 3 different business hubs in addition to just one. And so World Bachelor in Business was a much more inviting option for me. So after joining the World Bachelor in Business program, I found that it has helped me in a lot of ways. For example, the WBB has helped me to become a lot more adaptable. Before joining this program, I had never studied abroad before. So going to Los Angeles was a completely new experience for me. Los Angeles has a much slower pace of life than we do in Hong Kong. And I kind of built some strategies to help me cope with this adaptation. And so I really feel that the WBB has helped me with my adaptability. And so in the future, I think that this adaptability will help me when I want to pursue cross-cultural careers. And another point that WBB has helped me with is that WBB has provided me with a really close family. I'm currently part of the 6th cohort, and we're really famous for being the largest cohort, and we're also really diverse with people from Morocco to Malaysia. And although we come from so many different backgrounds, we all bond over our shared love of traveling, of business. And so even though we're currently in this hectic semester at HKUST, we still find some time to kind of wind down and catch up together during taco nights. And so I really feel that this kind of family experience that WBB provides us with is really going to help me cultivate a lifelong network that will be super helpful in the future when I'm pursuing a career. And the third thing is that WBB provides me with a really strong knowledge base. So in my first semester, I did a course in marketing, and this course helped me to find an internship this summer. And in the spring, I did this course called Global Social Impact, which exposed me to the business environment in Peru, which is really special because not only can I have the chance to understand the business environments in Los Angeles, in Hong Kong, in Milan, but also Peru. And so I think that this base of knowledge will really help me to build a holistic awareness of different business functions and help me to identify what I am interested in the future. For students out there who don't know yet what area of business that they're interested in, WBB is also a perfect program for you. So now I also want to talk a little bit about WBB experiences. One of the experiences I want to highlight the most is the Global Social Impact Program that was introduced in Sherry's year. And the photo on the leftmost side, the biggest one, and the top middle are both from that experience. And so in Peru, we had the chance to work with a social nonprofit company called Sistema B Peru, which is kind of like the B Corp certification company in the US, and they certify companies that meet the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. And so even though they had like a really strong social impact drive, no one in Peru really knew about them. And so they hired us to help them come up with a digital marketing strategy. So through this experience, we got to have a little bit of consulting experience. And so that really helped a lot of students in my cohort determine that they were interested in the consulting industry. And another experience I really want to highlight is just the educational experience I've had so far. So the picture from the top right corner, the first one, which says comprehensive curriculum under that, was taken from my last marketing class with Professor Proserpio. It was just taking marketing at USC was a fantastic experience. The professor was really approachable after classes. He gave us recommendations on Italian restaurants, and he also gave really good pointers on questions we had about marketing. So that was an overall wonderful experience. And so with these wonderful experiences, I just really kind of believe that I can't recommend WBB highly enough, and I will hand it over to Sherry just to talk a little bit more about the WBB across the 4 years.
Sherry.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelly. So my name is Sherry. I'm a final year student in the World Bachelor in Business program. And as a final year student, what I've really been able to observe and experience are the unique characteristics of each school, as well as the advantages of having them structured in the way that they are. So beginning with our first year at the University of Southern California in the beautiful Los Angeles, one of the best parts about USC is the robust and strong campus life at USC. So beginning with the student organizations, regardless of what you want to be involved with, who you are, there's something for everything and anyone, whether you want to find like-minded students or to try something new. The campus is also safe and secure and a closed campus, but it's just minutes away from the very exciting experiences that downtown LA can offer you. But the campus also allows a lot of the traditional four-year American university experience. And I think nothing speaks to that better than our game days. So USC has a very strong football team, and the entire Trojan family network will show up and show out for game day tailgates. And in fact, all across campus, whether it's from current or former students, you can hear our mantra shouted across campus. And I'll invite now Professor Nason and Kelly to say it with me. Fight on. And whenever you hear fight on, you know it's a fellow Trojan that's telling you, hey, I'm a Trojan, you're a Trojan, we're all in this together. And that's something that speaks volumes as a first year student. Secondly, the university resources. So USC has one of the highest tuitions in the country. And honestly, a lot of that money actually does come back to the students. They bring a lot of dedicated and high caliber guest speakers to campus. There are a lot of opportunities for students to get involved outside the university through campus funded organizations. They also bring a lot of guest artists on campus just for student entertainment, concerts, festivals, what have you. There are a lot of unique experiences that USC offers that a lot of other universities don't. In addition to that, USC puts a lot of focus on the difficult transition into college life that a lot of students can face, because USC is a pretty international student body. A lot of people come from far and wide to attend this university, and so a lot of resources are set aside for students to have a very smooth and gradual transition into becoming adults and becoming a part of something greater. Finally, at USC, you're able to probably have the most diverse curriculum of all the years at WBB. As Professor Nason mentioned, we do graduate with a degree from each university. So to fulfill those degree requirements, it means we take a lot of business classes. They're pretty concentrated over the years. It's a lot like an MBA program. But at USC, what we offer is a lot of core content classes as well. So USC believes in exploring your boundaries, a little bit more of a liberal arts education. You take classes in sciences, in arts, in the philosophies, in writing. So at the end of your first year, what you really have is the most exploratory but accommodating introduction into this journey that you're going to be taking over the next few years. So moving on to second year at HKUST, right here in the stunning Hong Kong. So one of the best advantages of HKUST in my mind is it's the youngest school of all three schools. And what that means is that a lot of the professors that you'll have classes from are actually still in industry or have just come from industry. And when it comes to courses like operations, statistics, finance, that means a lot, honestly. It means a lot to have professors who have real life experiences experiences to share with you in the classroom instead of maybe a lot of research or a lot of academia those are coming from. There's a time and a place for both, but at HKUST, you really get that unique opportunity unlike the other universities. Secondly, as Professor Nason also mentioned, we have a WBB administrative office at all of the universities. However, I think it's undeniable to every student in WBB that the WBB faculty and resources at HKUST are particularly unique. Professor Nason is actually our longest running director of the program. He has known all 7 cohorts of the program so far, and we hope he continues for much longer after this. We also have wonderful administrators and advisors here who are here to answer any questions we may have, whether that's in the professional, academic, or even personal spaces. I know that the transition between countries and between regions, between spaces, and years of the program can be extremely difficult for students, and to have an office of people who are always in your corner speaks volumes. And finally, HKUST has amazing quantitative prowess. I think everyone knows that the 2 best schools at HKUST are engineering and business, and if you are at all interested in anything quantitative or technical, this is really where you get to take those courses, make those connections, meet those people. It speaks volumes that HKUST is situated in Hong Kong, a global hub for finance, a global hub for international business overall, and that excitement, that fast pace of life really creates a lot of individual growth in this year. Over the past years in my WBB experience, what I hear from all the cohorts is Hong Kong is where we grow the most. It's where we grow the most as individuals, and it's also where we grow the most as a cohort. This is where you kind of bond the most as that family that Kelly mentioned, right in time for your 3rd year of Bocconi. So Bocconi University is in Milan, Italy, a cultural and global hub in Europe. And one of the aspects that stands out the most to me from my Bocconi experience is the cultural immersive aspect. That's of course something that we say is an advantage of WBB overall, but I think it speaks entirely true when it comes to our year of Bocconi. So during our year of Bocconi, we take Italian, we take an Italian course, we have to pass Italian in order to graduate. But also while living in Italy, you get a lot of opportunity to use the Italian. It's not just something that we learn to get that tick on our diploma. It's actually a very important asset while living in that country. And if you speak, the more you speak Italian, the more culture that you become exposed to. And Milan is situated right in the center of Italy, right in the center of Europe. So there's a lot of traveling opportunities. So it's not just Italian culture, it's all of the European lifestyle that you really get in your 3rd year. Secondly, the university reputation is particularly strong when it comes to Bocconi. I'm sure that a lot of Americans and local Hong Kong students are not necessarily aware of how strong Bocconi's reputation really is. But after spending a year working in London, I can truly tell you, Bocconi is one of the strongest reputations of all the universities in the world. Of my team of 20 at an investment bank this past year, 1/3 were Bocconi alum, and my management actually told me that from that year forward, they were only going to be recruiting from 2 universities, HEC in Paris and Bocconi, because they're only good candidates they receive from all of Europe and the UK is from Bocconi and HEC. That speaks volumes. As a WBB student, you are a full-time Bocconi student. You get to leverage that alumni network and that reputation. And third, the focused curriculum. So of all the 3 years, I would say Bocconi is really where you get to take the most business classes. You take law classes, you take accounting classes, finance, European economic policy. This is kind of where your education becomes as narrow as you need it to be down whatever path you want it to be. So you've spent your 1st year at USC, you've explored who you are, you found your footing. In 2nd year, you've grown a lot as a person, you developed an identity. By 3rd year, you're already gearing to, figure out what you want for the rest of your life. What kind of value do you offer to the rest of the world? What type of career do you want to take? And Bocconi offers you the best classes to figure that out. And there's a lot of flexibility as well for you to, take on the difficulty of recruiting, honestly. So by your final year, This is where you get to make your big choice. You know, WBB is extremely unique, not only because of all these advantages, but also because we offer you the flexibility, the bespokeness of choosing your path. You choose your final year school. And I've written here some examples, but students in the past have chosen their final school based on different things, often based on what they want to work in, whether that's entertainment, finance, or policy. That could lead you to LA, Hong Kong, or Europe, or also maybe just what kind of lifestyle they want to live. If the choice can differ for each individual, the point is we get to have that choice, and the program can be different for every single person. Finally, what I would say is WBB really is more than the sum of its parts. And what I mean by that is if you were to add up all of the advantages I just described of all three universities, you wouldn't quite equal WBB, because all of these three things together mean that we have added value in the program. And some of the unique benefits from a student's perspective are listed right here on the screen. So right off the bat is there are a lot of synergies between the university resources. So as Professor Nason mentioned, we are full-time students of all three schools, all 4 years. You can have the right to work, the access to alumni networks, the access to career resources of all the schools all the time. And that means you can combine them for more than what a student at just one of the university can have. For example, I had a friend who freshman year received an internship through the career resources of one university. It was an unpaid internship, as a lot of freshman year internships can be, and then received a scholarship from a different university to fund his time while working that internship in a country that is not his home country. That is an opportunity that he would not have been able to leverage had he not been part of the WBB network. Secondly, the 3 times alumni networks. I mean, it's just a numbers game. At the end of the day, you have 3 times the amount of people in the entire world to help you no matter what you want to do in the future. You can reach out to anybody off of the basis of just one university. For example, in London, I know that there are a lot of Bocconi alum. I can meet up with somebody and just talk about the Bocconi experience and then add in the USC and HKUST on top of it. In LA, I know that USC has its strongest reputation, and I can talk about being a USC student with other fellow USC alums, and that speaks volumes as well. Our third thing is a student-centered approach to the program. Now, as Professor Nason mentioned, we tend to have on average 45 students per cohort. That is on average smaller, much smaller than any other undergrad program in the whole world. We have 3 offices of administration that are focused on our experiences at all time. They hear us, they listen to our concerns, and they're working to improve the program every day. The program has undergone so many changes just from my year to Kelly's year that we have totally different experiences, and I'm so proud of that, because it means I'm part of something that's growing and changing along with the student body. I actually wanted to take a gap year to do an internship that I thought would be a good opportunity for me to learn if this industry was what I wanted. And speaking with the directors, with the administration, I've never found the path easier. It was extremely accommodative, extremely cooperative, and that just speaks to, as a student in WBB, this journey is what you need it to be. Finally, or second to last, I guess, it is a self-made reputation. World Bachelor in Business students are extremely proud to be part of WBB. It's a conscious choice we've all made, and it's honestly something we've probably had to defend to parents who don't want us to leave the nest, or to other people who think it's a little bit unconventional. At the end of the day, we all know why we're here. And that means a lot, because when we leave this program, every day when somebody asks us, what is WBB? We have an answer prepared for them. When someone asks why WBB, we have an answer prepared. We are speaking the name of World Bachelor in Business everywhere we go. And we're opening doors for students after us to come and follow in our footsteps and take advantage of opportunities. I've had so many opportunities that I know were consequences of students ahead of me opening those doors and doing a good job, setting our reputation strong, and I'm hoping I'm doing the same for the generations to follow. And just last but not least, this program is all about adaptability and agility. The number one strength every WBB student has compared to any other business student is adaptability. It's truly what makes us able to be global leaders in the future. There's no situation you can put us in that is too overwhelming or just too much for us to deal with. We've seen it all. And then also this program is just the most agile thing to describe when it comes to recruitment. You can talk about your USC experience at the forefront or your HKUST experience at the forefront, whichever reputation stands strongest, whichever story stands strongest for you. WBB is both adaptable and agile in a world that needs something like that. At the end of the day, all of this makes the World Bachelor in Business experience, and we are so, so proud to be a part of it. I would like to now pass it back to Professor Nason. He's going to answer some questions as well as remind you of when the admission dates are going to be.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we have some questions. I see a question on, first question, what is the expected SAT or ACT score for admission? While it is required, as I said, we don't overweight, we try not to overweight the SAT or the ACT. We do look at it. We do get candidates with very strong scores, but it's not the majority of what we look for. So an average score, something, if your score is in the 1400s, you're within the range of a strong candidate for WBB. All right, I see another question. If I'm interested in other HKUST or USC programs as well, do I have to apply separately? If you're interested in other USC programs, you do not have to apply separately. You apply through the Common App, you list WBB as your first choice, that way it'll be flagged to us, but you also have an opportunity to list other USC programs as a choice as well. If you're interested in other programs at HKUST, it's a little bit different. So WBB is the only self-funded program at HKUST for undergraduates. Most of HKUST is government funded, so they have a different admission policy. So if you would like to apply to another program at HKUST, our regular business school program, GBUS, or engineering, you would have to apply to HKUST separately, as well as WBB through USC in the Common App. Okay. Third question, what is the program size? Is there an intake cap for different regions? How many Asian Hong Kong students will you admit? We target 45 students each year. Kelly's year, a little bit of a problem because we had 70 students accept. So that was our biggest cohort, but we're targeting 45. We do not have a quota for region. We would like it to be roughly a third from the Americas, a third from Asia Pacific, a third from Europe, Africa, but we really don't have a quota. We're looking for the strongest candidates. I think the most recent numbers in terms of how many Asian Hong Kong students, I think it varies every year. This year we have about a third of the admissions are Asian students. Of that third, offhand, I don't remember how many are Hong Kong. 3, I believe, are Hong Kong. I'm just told 3 are Hong Kong students. All right. Is it a must for students to have high academic results? Yes, high academic results are necessary, but they're not sufficient. We look at admissions of lots of candidates who are just spectacular academic results, but we're looking for more than that. We're looking for people who are really going to grow from this program, who are really going to embrace it, who are going to become global leaders. So academic results are one thing we look at. but we're also looking at interviews. We're looking at letters of recommendation. We are looking at your GPA. We're looking at extracurricular activities. We're looking for indication beyond just academic results, even though academic results are necessary. Will there be interviews? And what kind of format is the interview? It depends. There are interviews. Everyone, well, because we recruit from all over the year, everyone does an online interview. So we set up a time, we send you a question, you have a couple minutes to think about the question, you give your answer, and we look at that. In addition to the online interview, USC and in the future HKUST invite students onto campus for additional interviews. And the students who are invited on campus, they actually get interviewed by WBB students from the previous cohort. So there are also opportunities for that, and that tends to be a day-long program at USC. And at USC, it's mostly from applicants from North America. At HKUST, it would be applicants from Asia. What is the most pleasant surprise for you in your WBB experience? I think this is a question for you too. What was your most pleasant surprise?
What is the most pleasant surprise? I guess it kind of surprised me how easy the transition was for me to Hong Kong. So I grew up, born and raised in the US. My parents are from mainland China, and so I grew up very much, you know, American culture, but also I was very tied to my Chinese heritage. And I always just kind of felt like it was something I had to choose between. But even going to Los Angeles, where there's so many other Asian Americans, it never really felt like home. And Hong Kong, this place that I never really thought I would be interested in. I just never really thought I would go there. This place that I just thought would be a part of this WBB experience and not really too important to me has really become a second emotional home for me. I think I've developed so much of my personal identity, who I am today, here in Hong Kong in my second year. Is part of the reason why I wanted to come back for fourth year. And no part of the transition was difficult for me at all. And it's because for the first time, this is the first place in the whole world that has felt like a combined East and West influence, the same way I feel about myself. And so I'm extremely, pleased that through the WBB journey, I've been able to find that, because I don't think I would have been able to otherwise.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
One of the most pleasant surprises for me is just how excited and open-minded everyone WBB is. So even though there are many Americans in my cohort, and some of them have never been to Asia before, but they were so excited to come over to Hong Kong and then get to know Hong Kong, how fast-paced the lifestyle is, and then go to the ladies' market and then engage in local activities. And everyone in WBB is just so open-minded, and that's one of the things I really love about this program, is that although everyone has different cultural experiences, and they'll have different cultural backgrounds, and they'll grow up in different kind of households and everything, but we all really connect over our love of exploring cultures. And I think that was one of the most pleasant surprises for me, is that it really is like that. The WBB program is really filled with people who are so excited about culture and business.
Oh, great. One of the earliest surprises for me was, I remember in I think it was the second cohort, there was a student in WBB, an American guy, and he just finished his year at USC, and he loved USC. And he came to Hong Kong, all he did is talk about USC. And I graduated from USC too, and I also like USC. So we had a lot to talk about. And towards the end of the first semester, he told me he was going back to USC and how excited he was going to see all of his friends, blah, blah, blah. And I said, great. And so he goes back to USC over Christmas. After Christmas break, he comes back to us, and I asked him, how was his trip? And he looked at me, he said, it was good, but it was kind of weird. I said, why? What happened? And he said, well, I went back to USC. I saw all my old friends in Los Angeles, but they're still the same. And I said, well, what did you expect? You've only been gone for 5 months. He said, yeah, but we are all so different. And to me, that really sums up the WBB experience. even a year and 5 months into the program, the WBB students had so much more experiences that now they were all so different. And we see that in their maturity. We see that how they interact with executives. We see that how they present themselves. Okay, let's go on to the next question. When does each semester start and finish? The typical time frame, usually about September 1st is the start, and end of April, mid-May is the end. It's a little bit different for each school. USC is on the regular North American model about September 1st to mid-December, and then you have Christmas break and you start again in January. HKUST, we're a little bit different. We still start on September 1st. We end just before Christmas, middle of December, but then at HKUST, we have all of January off, and we start the semester in about February 1st, give or take, depending on how Chinese New Year falls. All right. Apart from the living costs, are there any costs that are not stated, like travel costs to other places? Yes. WBB students love to travel. When they are in Hong Kong, one nice thing about Hong Kong is we're like a 4-hour quick plane hop from all over Asia, and WBB students take advantage of that. A weekend a month, 2 weekends a month, the WBB students are off going to the Philippines or Borneo or someplace fun while I stay here in Hong Kong and work. In Europe, Milan is centrally located. People take the train for a couple of hours all over Europe. So they do travel. They travel reasonably, mostly by low-cost airlines and stuff, but there are these things. It is mostly budget travel, but they do have fun. But this is things students choose to do or choose not to do. All right. Can I take up full-time or part-time internships in the different countries? Would the program arrange for internships? The first part is yes, you can take up full-time or part-time internships. In fact, the vast majority of students do. In the first year, the vast majority of WBB students already have a summer internship, which is quite unusual. As we pointed out, by the third year, almost over 100% have had internships or have started their own business. So that is one strength of WBB. It's such a unique program. The students have been very good at getting internships. Does the program arrange for internships? We don't hand out internships like candy. The students find them with the help of our career centers. So they have access to the career centers of all 3 universities, and we have a very high success rate of students getting internships. What was your experience?
So I think I've done the WBB thing, and I've worked in every region that we've studied in. So after first year, I did a internship with a startup in the US in San Francisco. After second year, I did 2 internships here in Hong Kong, actually. And then after my year at Bocconi, I did a full year internship in London, which is kind of where, if you want to work in finance in Europe, it's kind of all in London. And that's considered one kind of application hub. So if you study at Bocconi, London is a great place for you to look to apply, or if you are interested in fashion or entertainment, maybe somewhere local in Europe, especially if you meet the language requirements, those opportunities are all available for you.
How many different internships did you have?
Well, that would be 4. And then I've had, well, those are like 4 official internships, but we've had lots of work opportunities that I wouldn't say the program arranged for us, but through the WBB reputation or through some like course programs or study trips, we've been able to connect with alumni or connect with certain corporations and arrange for student work opportunities as well. So for example, a group of 5 of us during our year in Hong Kong actually did a project for Microsoft that they ended up implementing. And that was not an official internship, but it's something that is listed on my CV. It's something that Microsoft will speak to, and every single one of my future employers after that saw as a valid work experience. So that was not something that WBB gave us or provided for us, but a previous WBB student had done an internship with Microsoft and opened that door for us. We used the WBB name to get connected with Microsoft for that opportunity.
Yeah, so just to add on to how WBB really prepares you to find internships and succeed in attaining them, last year, for my first semester, I took a marketing course, which really set me up to find a marketing internship this summer with a financial technology bank in Hong Kong. And currently, during this semester, I'm also doing a part-time job. So part-time internships are definitely possible at all three universities. So that is if you're planning on doing a part-time internship during your studies or an internship during the summer or the winter, WBB is a really good program for you to consider.
So not even halfway through year 2 yet, you're already on your second internship. Okay, good. Let's see. We have just a few more minutes, so let's see if we can run through a couple of these questions quite quickly. Can I stay in the US, Italy, or Hong Kong to work after graduation? Yes, whichever school you stay at for your final year, you will get a year, at least a year work visa after that year. So you can stay in EU or the US or Hong Kong to work after the graduation. Do I get on-campus accommodation at all three universities? You get university housing option at all three universities. So at USC, it's all on campus. At HKUST, it is university housing, but it's just 10 minutes, 5 minutes from campus, right on one of the subway stops, shopping mall stops, so easy accessibility to both the university and the city. And at Bocconi, you can stay on campus if you want. The majority of the students choose to get their own apartment in their third year in Milan, but there is that choice. All right, we have time for one more question. Are there any scholarships available? Yes, we do offer merit-based scholarships. 30 to 40% of the students do get a merit-based scholarship. So we do have those offers available. I see we have a lot more questions, but I'm afraid we're out of time. So please, if you have more questions that we haven't been able to address, reach out to us, the WBB office. You can see our emails here. Reach out to us. Our office will get back to you. Reach out to us through email or through Facebook. Remember, the deadline for applications is December 1st, so this is an earlier deadline than most Asian universities. So if you're interested, please contact us. Make sure. If you are interested, apply through the Common App at USC. Even if you're in Hong Kong or Asia, apply to the Common App to USC. List WBB as your first choice, and then your application will come to us to look at. So just to wrap up, the World Bachelor of Business program, I think you've gathered by now, it's a very interesting program. It may not be for everyone, but if you are thinking about an international career, WBB is truly internationalism on steroids. If you're thinking about an international career, I think we are a good program for you to consider, and we're happy to hear more from you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.